Hi and welcome. My name is Teresa Alabada and welcome to my channel where I share my love of music, philosophy, and thoughts during this pandemic. So, this is a life update video and I would have to say the biggest news I have is that I have finally finished my new website for my upcoming eczema book. And after a lot of reflection, I have tentatively scheduled that book to be self-published by August 8th, if not earlier. We'll see what happens these days. A lot of delays, and mostly because of the news and it affecting my stress levels and emotions. So I'm just gonna be realistic, patient and kind with myself in a world that seems so unkind right now. And in any case, this website, because of the news and because of how it affected my stress levels, took about 3 months. I really thought this website would take 1 month maximum, but I ended up including a lot more categories of eczema topics than I expected. And if you follow me for a while, you know that this website and book that I have coming up, my first self-published book and first published book ever, is about my journey with eczema since the age of 5. I will be 37 in November, so yeah, that's over. Like, I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran when it comes to eczema. I'm not going to say I'm an expert or guru. I haven't tried every eczema treatment on the planet, and I mostly had it in the early 1990s, so there's a lot more to it now that other newer eczema warriors will know than I do. But I have, a perspective that started before the internet was really a thing, much less social media, so I think that's helpful too. And I'm sure over time there will be parallels and patterns that will repeat themselves as we collect more information and data on various patients' experiences having eczema and what works and doesn't work for them. But yeah, this website was a labor of love. It kind of felt like writing a mini book. But essentially it is all of the eczema content that I've ever created on my other YouTube channel called Eczema Phoenix, or written for written for the patient-centric community website blog, atopicdermatitis.net. They pay patients with experience with eczema to write about it from a first-person perspective, and so yeah, I contributed. I got paid pretty well, I'd say, and I also amassed a great collection of content. So I figured, why don't I just combine my Eczema Phoenix website and then my atopic dermatitis blogs into one personal database of categories that I think are the most helpful and interesting, and that I get asked questions about the most, because I do get a lot of questions about eczema for my other YouTube channel. And maybe it's just a matter of perspective, but for me, I could easily get like 10 new messages about eczema, and I'm sure by now, if you're a new person, you can tell I'm verbose and I'm thorough and I have a lot to say about a lot. And for me to answer even one question with what I know now would take time for kind of a perfectionist like me to feel satisfied answering it, because there is so much to every question, and it's rarely just one factor that really affects it, and it's usually a system of factors, a system of variables that work together for or against you. And so yeah, I'll put a link to my new website if you want to check it out. If you or anyone you know is suffering from eczema or mysterious rashes you can't explain, maybe one of my videos or blogs can help answer some questions. I also have FAQs and my recommendations and my favorite things for this and that, food, supplements, whatnot, that I share on there that have worked for my skin and hopefully will be helpful for others' skin, or give them like a jumping off point of something that you could try for themselves in the future, whether it's my specific recommendation product or not, product that I recommend or not. So that's exciting. And then of course I can't ignore the humongous elephant in the room, which is the effect of the anti-Asian hate crimes in news on me and on my how it's affected my energy, my emotions, my stress levels, my desire and ability to create content for this channel, to even practice new music, to even practice any new guitar things. And it has affected me a lot, and I'm just gonna say up front, I am turning off the comments for this video because every time I talk about race on social media, which I have done on Instagram a lot, somebody gets triggered, and it's not always white supremacists. It's yeah. Man, and I am actually in California, so I really do feel like I'm in the wild, wild west out here, just operating, just being outside physically, trying to get groceries. I don't know, with all the news going on now, are there racists? Are there rapists? Are there stalkers? Kidnappers, human traffickers? I'm getting all kinds of strange behavior and situations around me since all of this has been peaking since, I don't know, since the turn of the year. I don't know, or since Biden got elected, or since I don't know. I feel like particularly around February, it just really got an uptick. Maybe because we're starting to reach the 1-year anniversary of this whole goddamn thing, but yeah, it's affected me, and I've gone through so many emotional roller coasters processing the hate and questioning how real it is, or if there is an underlying financial motive behind it. Because, like I said in my last life update video addressing the anti-Asian hate crimes, just like on a physical level, who am I threatening? Who am I really threatening? And upon further, I don't know if I want to say investigation, just being exposed to more news headlines and stories, and just the more information that's put out there in the news about these anti-Asian hate crimes, it's just so out of nowhere that, to me, it doesn't make common sense for it to really just be out of hate itself against Asians, because we're typically so just keeping to ourselves, trying to not cause waves, trying to not get into drama, trying to not increase our stress levels, because that really affects your longevity. There's usually that kind of wisdom, but I don't know, I'm hearing all kinds of stories about a history of possibly beef between Black and Asian people, because there was this Korean lady, and I don't know if it was the 70s or 80s or something, but she suspected a Black teenager was stealing something and shot the teenager, which is absolutely horrible, and I do not condone death for just being suspect of being thievery. And I agree with Black people that was too much. I don't think that Black teenager needed to die, even if they were going to steal something. But I also don't think that Korean person represents all Asian people. I don't, oh God. Whenever I talk about racism, and whenever I've commented on it on my Instagram, or on other posts on Instagram, I honestly just get a headache, because I'm sure there are other people like me who are obviously one person who does something bad does not represent an entire group of people. It is unrealistic and unfair to just assume that just because one person who happens to be of a certain skin color does something means that now every person of that same skin color is a bad person. I mean, Trump was fucked up. He was probably the worst president in the world, in the history of the world. well, at least in the U.S. At least in the U.S. Um, and just because Trump was a white person doesn't mean I think all white people are Trump. You know what I'm saying? You know. And just because there are black people attacking Asians, I don't think all black people are gonna be attacking Asians. Like I don't think like Beyonce or Oprah or Obama, are going out shooting up people who are Asian just for the sake of them being Asian. Oh my god, there's so much to this topic, and the idiocy is incredible. Like honestly, I really try to be diplomatic when I express myself, but like this whole situation is all the way fucked up in such an obvious and blatant way that I can't I just can't help but cuss more and just not give a fuck, and kind of I just have to take a stand because my people are dying and I could die tomorrow. So if that's gonna happen, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want, however I want it, and I don't care. And that's why I'm going to block comments on this video, because I know that a lot of people are not used to seeing strong Asian women cuss and have an opinion and stand strong. And I get a lot of trolls on Instagram trying to shut me down or make stuff up, try to create confusion, just spewing out a bunch of BS that doesn't even make sense, or asking questions about my stance that are backed up with history and evidence. And they're like, oh, really? And it's just all kinds of poisonous, venomous, evil trickery and wordplay that is primarily from white supremacists, white male supremacists, typically older. I don't know if they're like around during the 1950s or something like that. Or maybe they're the sons of them and they've been poisoned with evil hate and racist upbringings. I don't know, but it's fucked up and it sucks. And so this is my channel, and my channel is my house. To me, it's my house on the internet, and I will be respected in my house. So to prevent confusion and evil, hateful, racist thoughts and people bringing up irrelevant details, oh my god, and making blanket statements about Asian people or black people or whatnot, it's just not for me. There's no space for that in my house. There's no space for that bullshit. And I'm gonna be here. I don't know how long this video is gonna stay up, because I notice on Instagram I get a lot of my comments reported or hidden or whatnot when I express my opinion and my anger towards white supremacists and white silence and enabling violence through silence and all of that. So I don't know how long this video is going to stay up. Hope it does, but if it doesn't, I'll just re-upload or start another channel, and I'll keep doing my thing too. I'm not, trolls aren't the only one who can create multiple accounts. I mean, at least you know what I look like and you know my name. They hide. I notice a lot of them hide. They have no real name. They have no picture, no posts, no identifiable information. They're just purely there to follow liberal or progressive accounts, and even accounts that promote unity between different people of color, like Black, Latino, Mexican, Asian, solidarity. They will follow those accounts, and then they will see strong comments like mine having an opinion, or calling out white supremacy, and then they will just try to create confusion or say like black people hate Asians and blanket statements like that. And then I'm like, well, that's not fair. What about the white people hating Asians and the white people that started the anti-Asian hate trend? It was started with white people. It started with Karens and Kevins blaming China for the virus. I've never even been to China, so that's a bunch of bullshit reason. That's a fucking bullshit ass reason to attack Asian Americans, people born in this country, just because they look like people born overseas where the virus started from. I mean, if that's your argument, if you think that an entire race of people is to blame, and that is a valid enough reason to attack, rob, sexually assault, and murder in cold blood, if you think the origin of a virus gives you license to murder a random person by surprise. You don't even give them. I see a lot of these news articles. There's no warning shots. It's all surprise punk ass attacks. They don't see it coming, so their punk ass is not even showing them that they're going to attack them. Like, hey, what's up? Let's have a fair fight here. Or let's both be ready. These are punk ass attacks. If you think that's a legitimate reason to do that, then I think that argument means that Native Americans have the right to attack, rob, murder, and scalp white people for bringing the flu and cold viruses from Europe, from Britain. Didn't the Pilgrims come over here and infect entire tribes of Native Americans with the cold and flu virus, which is still around and still killing people and still leading to pneumonia? And yet somehow we're still here, and yet somehow white people are still getting by, surviving without any worries. White people in America were the first to bring over an infectious virus that killed so many Native Americans, so many Native first indigenous tribes. So if anyone thinks that Asian people deserve to be killed because of a virus that came from another country that happens to be Asian, then we should kill all white people for bringing over the cold and flu viruses, which did kill a lot of people and still continue to kill people today. And it's still around the same rate as the cold virus kills people now. How fair is that? Should we all just target white people now? Should we blame white people for all the people who get infected with the cold and flu viruses that have been here for hundreds of years? How much sense does that make? Should we still continue murdering people in cold blood? So I look forward to the day when the Native peoples get their reparations and whatever they will decide will be fair in the future for them to get their land rights back. Because I've realized that they were the first in this country to be abused by the white settlers, the Yankees, the Pilgrims that came over from Europe. The first true immigrants really were white people. It will be interesting to see how karma will play out. And because of this, I predict that Asians will be the next most intimidating, loud, and angry race, probably within the next decade or so. Because while I do not claim to understand what it's like to have a history of enslavement, I'm not going to claim to be understanding the same level of oppression that Black people have experienced in this country. I do have a better idea of what it's like to be a part of a targeted race, unfairly judged, unfairly murdered, targeted, having assumptions made about you because of white supremacy and white hate. To really literally be murdered for nothing. And the crazy thing, if you really pay attention to the news articles and if you really pay attention who is in them, what I've also realized is that even beyond the Native Americans, the first people to be abused by white people are white people. Particularly women being targeted against men. Salem witch trials, where women literally got burned or drowned just because certain men thought Maybe they could be witches because they did not want to accept, I don't know, like their limitations or bad weather for their crops that year, or realize that they had no self-control over their sexual desires, and they could not handle the strength, independence, and sensuality of certain women who were very strong and in touch with their body, as well as Mother Earth. White people are the first to abuse white people. That's why there's a lot of white guilt, I believe, because I think when racism comes up and when abuse comes up, white people who are allies, who have been abused, understand. They understand the mental instability, the substance abuse, the self-medication, and the self-hate that they've witnessed in their own family, because for some reason, white people that have come to America at least came because they hated where they came from. They hated Britain, they hated England, the crown. I don't know. But as they say with bullies, hurt people hurt people. And since all of the hate crimes in America have literally started and continued by white people, they must be the most hurt of all. And this issue of racism and hate and judgment can only end where it begins. And that's why I am grateful and I am proud that Joe Biden is president, because for him to bring along, well, not only to bring along a woman of color as his VP, but to support the first Black president of the United States, he is an ally. And so I trust him. And I know he's not perfect, but as far as I'm concerned, after Trump, he's what we need. We need extreme changes now, because people are dying now unfairly, even as things are improving, even though somehow stadiums are opening up again, and even though this virus is getting better again and things are improving and we're getting vaccinated, somehow Asians are still being targeted and killed despite the improvement. Oh my God, we need someone like him. And also people who kill Asians for that, who kill Asians regardless of the progress that we're making. It tells me it's not really about the virus. And from my observations of what I know, which I will admit is limited, it seems like people don't typically act out of character unless there's an ulterior motive. And in this country, in this time in the world, that's usually something financial. There's usually some sort of financial gain they see from it. I don't know if it's a really direct exchange. I'm no hacker. I don't have connections like that. But I would have to assume that money has to be involved in some way. And with the police system still being so corrupted, I don't really know how much they're really doing about the hate crimes. And I don't know if they're out above it. I don't know if they're actually part of it. I mean, Derek Chauvin is a clear racist, and he somehow got a badge. Also, I've noticed that a good number of the people who commit Asian hate crimes who are Black seem to be recently released criminals. The guy that smashed the 65-year-old Filipino woman's head in New York in front of some building with security guards that were good for nothing, and thankfully got fired. I read about his history in a news article. It said that he got released in 2019, even after his charge was that he murdered his own mother. I don't know, is someone paying him to do this? And even if he got arrested, would there really be any consequences? Or does he know he's good either way? Because, the footage looked like he was smiling after he smashed her head with his foot. So, I will be continuing to film my karaoke videos because that is my therapy. Music therapy gets me through these times and reminds me that there are things still worth enjoying even during a time like this. But the next few vlog type videos like this will be centered around racism in this country, my experiences with it, and my hopes for the future. So this channel may get a little bit more political, but of course I am just one person. Who am I really threatening? I mean, I am an American-born citizen. I also have First Amendment rights. Who's this really affecting? I don't know. But if you're watching this, I hope it makes you think. And I hope it makes you have more compassion for people, regardless of their skin color. And, I'm just a small channel right now, but I hope that the few people I reach will be touched by my words. Because like V for Vendetta says, an idea is bulletproof. And even if I die tomorrow, at least the ideas that I've shared will live forever. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.